My name's Sam Simpson. I am currently a senior majoring in biochemistry, about to graduate this spring. I'm from Blissfield, Michigan, and I went to Blissfield High School. I wanted to find a place where I wouldn't be drowned out in huge lecture halls, and I found UT, the class sizes, faculty to student ratio was perfect for what I was looking for. I knew I could be able to form relationships with the faculty, but still be able to find my own way. Yeah, so since I was a freshman, I've been involved with the American Chemical Society. My first year I was just a general member, but since then I've been the president. And we basically promote the spread of chemistry both on campus at UToledo and within the community. We do various demonstrations, we do outreach, we do tutoring, all sorts of things chemistry related. I also volunteer with the Bridge at UToledo, where we pack meals for the unhoused community in Toledo. I'm an RA at McKinnon Hall, and I'm an ambassador for the Honors College. I've actually worked with two different research groups in my time here at UToledo. My freshman and sophomore year, I worked with Dr. Ronning, who has since departed the university, but he was a biochemistry lab. I worked with a protein called PNCA, which is a protein in tuberculosis. I did a lot of purification and crystallization with that. And then since he departed, I've been working with Dr. Dragan Asilovich. He is more bioanalytical. We focus on microcystins. I did a little bit with the fluorescence of microcystins, and now I'm looking at more biodegradation of microcystins. So in 2014, there was that big algal bloom in Toledo, which affected a ton of the water. A lot of people were out water for a while, and that was because of microcystins. So since then, there's been a lot of research going into how can we mitigate that problem from ever happening again. And so in the lab, there's people working on different types of filters that people could put on their water in case something like that were to happen again, and other ways in which that microcystin could break down. My first summer, I was part of a research program funded by the Office of Undergraduate Research here at UT called FISR, First Year Summer Research Experience, where I was paid to do research over the summer. And it was a really great opportunity because I was gonna do research anyways, and I would have done it for free. But the fact that I got to be funded and get paid to do it while I was here made it even better. I would say, being able to make friends within my major. I think I was worried when I started about, not being able to focus on anything but school, but I've been able to find friends in my major that I've been able to work through all these things with, because college is stressful for everyone. And the fact that if you're able to find people in your major that you can be friends with and work through all your homework and exam studies through, it's amazing. And I'm really proud that I've been able to form a good friend group within my major. I think coming to college, I'm a first generation college student, so it was like I came here and I was just kind of plopped in. No one in my family really gave me any, head start on what I should be doing, what I needed to be doing. So that was really hard at first to kind of get myself to where I wanted to be, just because there was no one really guiding where I wanted to go. So I had to kind of forge that myself. I would say figure out what you really like to do. Figure out what you have fun doing, because anything extracurricular wise outside of school, you want to make sure you're having fun, because anything outside of the classroom, if you're not having fun, it's just going to be extra work. So focus on what you really like to do. There's a few. My first year, I went to an academic conference with ACS. It was in Orlando, Florida. We haven't had those since because of COVID, but that was a really great time, just because a lot of the people were students there and a lot of them were older, so they were able to kind of tell me a lot about, upcoming stuff I could do as a student. As I mentioned earlier, as a first gen student, there were people that had already been through their undergrad, so I was able to ask them hey, what are some other things I can do? And so that was really, and not to mention it was Florida too, so that was a lot of fun. Yep. Yeah, I went to some football games over the years. I went to the homecoming games. Those were a lot of fun with my friends. Yeah, I think sporting events were a really great time. I love when the university they do like the president's barbecue. That's a lot of fun because like not only people just get together outside in the warm weather, but also there's free food. My freshman year, I lived just in McKinnon Hall as a resident, and then my second year I lived off campus in an apartment with my sister, and then junior and senior I came back to be an RA. I think it was really helpful because I can compare it to when I lived off campus, and it's so much different because you can go back to your dorm and you're like, I can be back for anything, any sort of meeting. I'm right here for it. But when you're off campus, you're like, okay, once I go back, like I got to make sure there's nothing left to do. But when you're here on campus, there's a feeling of easiness where like you can just go back, do your thing, and still be involved. And I think that's really beneficial. My sophomore year, while I was living off campus, I just saw some flyers hanging around campus that were, apply to be an RA, and I was like, that sounds awesome. I love living on campus, and I want to do that again. So I applied, interviewed, got the position, and it's really great living on campus because having this job, I'm able to live for free on my own and eat for free, get a free meal plan with it, and so it's been an amazing experience that I would regret not doing it. So after I graduate this May, I plan to attend University of Toledo's College of Medicine and Life Sciences to pursue an MD degree. From the start, I knew I wanted my end goal to be medical school. So as far as like the kind of whole process of applying to med school, when I came to college, I knew I just wanted to focus on doing extracurriculars that I really liked to do. So like freshman year, I didn't mention this earlier, but I joined an improv group with one of my friends, and that was a lot of fun, just something I wanted to do. And just all the other stuff I've done. And then when it came to studying for the MCAT, I just took about 5 months, really just focused on that and school and not too much else. And then once I wrapped that up in May, I took my test in May and got my score back in time to submit my application in early June. And from there, waited for interviews over a few months and then ultimately made a decision. And ultimately I just knew UT was for me. I think it has prepared me very well. I think really through the honors curriculum, I think that's been really helpful, like through the smaller class sizes and like the extra projects. I think those have really developed like more critical thinking instead of just like memorizing something and chucking it back out. And that's been really helpful, and I think that'll really help me in the future. I think I'm looking forward to joining a community of people. Like the class sizes are like almost like a high school would be. So it's like, I'm excited to be within a class where like I'll know everybody and we'll all be going to the same classes all the time. I think I'm really excited for that, and trying to ultimately get to the same goal. I think if I were gonna go back and do things differently, even though I don't think I would do too many things differently, I would want to get to know people in my major, like I mentioned earlier. My first year, I didn't really form that many relationships with people in my major, and I wish I would have done that earlier on.